Manicotti, made with crespelle. These are the ingredients for a crespelle. Rather simple. Let's put some salt in the eggs, just like that. Let's whisk the eggs. And then this is where maybe between the sweet and the savory differ. This is sugar. Let's put just a little bit for the savory. I like them just a little, but if you want to make dessert sweet, then you add all of that sugar and maybe some lemon rind. So there's little differences, but this is the basic crepe. Olive oil, some olive oil. You could put melted butter in here if you'd like, if you make them for dessert, but you know, I'm Mediterranean, so it's all about the oil. Okay. Let's put some water here and get this mixed well, and then we'll add the flour. And you want a smooth batter, so add it kind of slowly, mix it in. Okay. Whisk it well, make sure all the bubbles, the lumps are loosened up, even a little thinner. So here we are all set. It's important that you let the batter rest 10, 15 minutes, even half hour, so that it kind of comes together. So the size of the crepe, this is a 10-inch pan. You can make it smaller, 8, you can make it 12, larger, but 10 is ideal. Non-stick pan is great. And have some melted butter on the side. And you just brush lightly the bottom with the butter. Let's get the pan hot, nice and hot. Get yourself all organized. You have a plate here. I have a nice spatula to flip it over, because this will be continuous until you finish doing all of them. And you just stack them on top. And get yourself a ladle. And what's important, you get nice and hot. You start from one side, and you kind of swirl it all around just like that. Let me just drip a little bit in here where we missed. The question is just to start on one side and let it swirl around so it's even all around, nice and thin. You get it crisp on one side, and then you just flip it over, and you keep on doing this. And it doesn't take long because it's very thin. Let's see where we are. Okay. Here we are. Maybe I like it a little darker, and we let it be a little longer. And, okay, let's see. Okay. So, one side, just like that. You let it swirl all around. All the way, you come all around, and here we go. So, you know, I love it when you come to my social media and you ask Lidia questions. Kathleen Hunt from Charleston, Virginia, wants to know, can the crespelle be frozen once you make them? Virginia, of course, they can. To save it so they stay nice and moist, you just wrap it tight with plastic wrap. And you can put it in the refrigerator and then pull it out and let it at room temperature. Eat it at room temperature. Do not eat it from the refrigerator. Okay, I'm gonna lower just a little bit. Here we are. I will continue to flip and fry and finish them, clean up, and then we'll come back and assemble. The kitchen should be approached with an easiness. Going in the kitchen shouldn't be a tense experience. You should be relaxed, and you should have fun. The kitchen and cooking is very forgiving. It's a great place where great things happen. And sometimes we don't really give ourselves enough credit for our sense of common sense, for understanding, for knowing. So if you release yourself, feel good about yourself, and get in the kitchen, and when in doubt, whatever your inner sense tells you, their sensibility, it's right, because it's right for you. So let's make the stuffing for manicotti, and I have the crepes ready, and we'll roll them and put them in the oven. Begin with some eggs, just to bind. A little bit of salt in the eggs, okay. Let's whisk them. The ricotta, this is nice fresh ricotta. Dry it, let it dry overnight so it's nice and dry. Let's break that in. Cut up mozzarella. Chop parsley, some of the grated cheese, and you want it fairly dry, you don't want it too wet. The aromatic here is the nutmeg. Just, this is a little nut that goes a long way, and just you grate some right in here. And it's very pronounced, the aroma, so a little bit will go a long way, and I think that's enough for that. Okay. And we are all set. Here I have the stuffing, the crespelle, the baking pan, some nice marinara sauce or tomato sauce. It's best if you make it yourself. Marinara is easy, but you can use a jar sauce for this. Nice and warm. Layer the bottom so it doesn't stick on the bottom. And let's... Okay, so here it is. Simple as that. Let's layer them. Try to get even filling in each one of them. Crespelle, or palacinque, we call them in our area. Ever since I can remember, those were part of our table. We used to sprinkle them with sugar, and that was enough for us. And when they were made for breakfast, Grandma, my mother, would make them, and we would roll them and eat them as fast as she made them. It still is at our house a tradition. The grandkids still want it, and I will venture to say that it will continue into the next generation. So you can see how simple this is. And you know what? If you prepare yourself well, you can double this, and you can make, we have 8 here. You want 1 or 2 for each, but you can make 2 or 3 of these. So it's great when you have the holidays, you have all the guests coming. Here I have some fresh mozzarella. You can grate it, but this is really nice and fresh and tender, and I will just slice it. Let's put some sauce right down the middle like that. Okay, a little bit on the side. This is really, and even shredded, just. Okay. Now let's put just a little bit more of grated cheese on top. That will give it a crisp topping. Just a little bit of dab for color, so when it comes out, it looks nice and colorful. Preheat the oven, 450 degrees, nice and hot. And you cover it for 20 minutes, let it bubble, let it cook inside, and then you uncover it for another 20, 30 minutes or as much as you see, okay, I like them this color or this is the way I like them. And you bring them piping hot to the table.
Masterclass, Crespelle Basics.
Remember, it should be always thinner than a pancake batter. Always let the batter rest. Learn the proper way to cook the crespelle. Don't forget to use the non-stick pan and the proper spatula. Crespelle are very versatile and can be sweet or savory. I think it's ready. Let's check it. Oh, ready it is. Beautiful bubble, nice crust. Wow, que bellezza. It smells good, it looks good, it even sounds good. The bubbles. And this, you know, stays warm in here. Bring it to the table right like this. In this, it'll stay warm. You can do the serving or let them just fish it out themselves. But I think I'm going to fish one out right now. Let's try this one. Let me just detach it a little bit. Oh la la. Oh, che bello, che buono. I mean, you know, I want to always make it prettier and better and tastier, but this doesn't need a single thing. So let me just see what's inside here. The ricotta, the cheese has melted. Should I cut just a piece like this right here? And you see the crunchiness on the side. I'm taking my time because it's hot. Otherwise, I would have already taken a bite. But now I will take a bite. So, is that a big piece? It is, but okay. Should I go for it? Yes. It really is delicious. So light. The ricotta, the mozzarella, simple, you know, milkiness, a little tomato. Delicious, delicious. A little bit, I don't know, maybe a little dolcetto I think would go very good with that. Dolcetto is a wine from Piedmont, very kind of red, fruity, but light. And I think it goes nice with this acidity. Buono, buono, buono. But while it's still bubbling, let me bring it to the table and serve everybody.